Jim Holley, Supercross Live on supercrossonline.com, here with the Yamaha JGR Toyota team and here with the team manager, Jeremy Albrecht. Something different this weekend, Gavin Faith filling in for you.
Yeah, Gavin, we actually probably would have filled in earlier. We've been waiting to see how James' hand was when he'd come back. So we knew James would be out for a little bit. We just figured we'd give Gavin a shot. Him and Dave are buddies, and they ride together at home. So, we just had him come try the bike, kind of low pressure. If you like it, you can ride it type thing. And, he basically rode Davey's setup and loved it. So he's here to ride the next. He'll be riding for sure 2 of them and possibly Vegas.
Something else I got to ask you about. I came in the pits earlier. I went over to the Moto Concepts. I see a Honda over there. They ride Suzuki's. I see a number 7 over there, but I don't see Stewart's name on it. I don't see his JS7 logo on the bike. I don't think he's riding. Looks like a production bike, but your thoughts on that?
I think it's for attention, honestly. I don't see why somebody would do that. I think that there's definitely rumors out there, and there's lots of things going on, but there's nothing at this point right now. Like I told that guy, we have a contract with James Stewart. He is not showing up racing their bike today. It's impossible. So why would you do that? That's my opinion. But he can do what he wants. He's getting attention, and I guess that's what he wanted. So that's that's fine for him and his sponsors, I guess.
Well, I don't pay attention to some of that because I think it's all rumors. And I mean, I know for a fact that James Stewart didn't ride the Monster Energy Cup last year because he changed teams. He still stayed on the same manufacturer, still on a Yamaha. There's no way that he's going to come here with a Suzuki or a Honda or who knows. But I got to ask you, how do you deal with all the media and everything and guys like me asking you questions like, where's James at?
It's hard. Like, it'd be easy if I knew exactly what the future holds, but we're all talking of what's the best for all of us, and there's nothing set either way. So that's the hard thing. Like, everyone thinks it's all easy and decided, but we're still working through it, and as soon as we all know and really make a decision, it'll be out in the public. But we haven't got to that agreement yet, and he goes back and forth. He likes the team. We've definitely struggled. For us, none of us want it to be like this. We expected, a lot different year, but, that's the way it is, and I don't really have a lot to say. That's the hardest part.
Let me ask you this. You guys have already had 2 wins on the season. Your expectations up to this point, obviously, to be leading the championship and a plethora of wins.
Yeah, at least, I just expected to be a little bit more consistent, I guess. Obviously, you always hope for more wins. I know he's fast, he's capable. Even the races that we haven't done that great at, he's been fast in practice, fast in the heats. All the pieces there. We just haven't got on a roll to where it gave him confidence in everything that's going on. So, it's just one of those things. I mean, Chad Reed, he's had up and downs. I think, even Villapoto, everyone has. This is part of racing, and it's just a bummer that it's not going how we wanted. But, that really is racing.
Let me ask you this. I remember a few years ago I went down to North Carolina and we had a great time down there. Your riders at that time were Josh Grant and Cody Cooper. I thought it was a great facility you guys had down there. Everybody was in-house, and I mean all the riders had to live down there and everything. And when I first heard James was going there, I went, that's probably what he needs to get out of Florida and get away from all the distractions. But then I find out that he's still living in Florida. I was just curious on what happened on that, because I thought that was a good concept that Coy had, yourself, and Coach Gibb, implementing a little bit of that NFL football training. Like, hey man, if I'm going to pay you, I want you to see how hard the mechanics are working. I want to see you working hard too.
Yeah, definitely that was the original plan, was to not really stray away from that. But when we started talking to different riders, pretty much most of the top ones, a lot of them have their own facility and they're already in their own training program. So, it's hard at that point. We wanted to step up to the next level. So that was really what we had to give up. And, for Davey, we let him not live there now too. So he's spending more time in Georgia and California. But, I think there definitely is positives of the guys being there. We get to test a lot. You get to see the guys a lot. You get to really bond. And, I guess that's, one of the things we're definitely missing now is the bonding. I knew James before and we knew each other, but it's just... Well, you guys won championships together. You were as a mechanic at Kawasaki. Yeah, I was there a long time with them, and I just think that it's just not clicking right now. I don't really know what it is. He definitely is fast enough. He rides a bike good enough. Just things haven't been going the right way, and it's hard to build confidence that way.